am the co-sector lead of this work group, and then I'm going to let Eric introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eric Nielsen. I am the fitness programmer for the City of Blue Springs Parks and Recreation over on the Missouri side.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I got the Kansas side covered. Eric's got the Missouri side covered. So thanks, Eric, for dividing and conquering with me. If you guys want to go ahead and type in the chat box who you're with and where you're from, that would be awesome. That way we don't have to popcorn around. We do have a special guest speaker here to celebrate Earth Day. But before we get that party started, Katie, do we have an agenda that we can share with the group?
I'm actually working. My computer is running really slow and I'm trying to pull it up. So if you give me a moment, I can just share the one that I had sent out earlier last week.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that one in my box too, and then I can also try sharing my screen.
Thanks.
Yeah, I got you. No worries. Got it. All right. Yeah, introductions are necessary. Absolutely. So again, type in the chat box who you guys are with and where you're from. We'd love to see that. It's always great to have reach. Also, this meeting is being recorded, so if you are obsessed with everything that we're talking about, you can go share it with your people as well. So today we do have MC Rose. She is here with us at JCPRD. Super happy to have her on the call, and she has probably the most interesting background out of all of us. So we will have her do an Earth Day spotlight, kind of celebrate what people are doing. We're also going to touch base on preparing for summer soccer engagement, and then have everyone share any group partner updates, and then also announcements. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And then MC, do you have access to share your screen? Is that correct? Awesome. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let MC kick us off and go from there, and I'll stop talking in circles.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name's MC Rose. I'm with Johnson County Park Recreation District, and I'm with Ernie Miller Nature Center. And so I'm super excited to be here. It's Earth Day every day at Ernie Miller Nature Center. We really while we don't have a dedicated Earth Day program, literally all of our programs are highlighting the conservation and ecology, biology, geology of what makes Earth special, and we teach a lot of people about it. So I'm going to share my screen. While I didn't share any slides, I did bring up some of my favorite photos of just some different programs that we get to do here at the Nature Center. And so I love photography just in general, but here at Ernie Miller, it's really easy to find some really incredible things. So if you've never heard of Ernie Miller Nature Center before, we are a nature center that is located just off K7 and K10 Highway in Olathe. And our nature center, our bread and butter of our programming is our big highlight is our birds of prey. So here at the Nature Center, we have 6 birds of prey that are rescue animals. So they're non-releasable by the U.S. government, and they are our bird ambassadors. So we have 2 hawks, some owls, and a little falcon. She's our American kestrel. She's pretty incredible. But for whatever reason, whether it's they were imprinted or whether they had an injury, they were deemed non-releasable by the federal government. And so they get to go around to schools. They have met thousands of children, thousands of patrons that get to come to our nature center. And they visit schools. So we take them on field trips and teach about how incredible they are and how important it is to conserve their environment and celebrate kind of the highlights of the really spectacular animals that we have here in Kansas. But we do lots of other programs as well. So we have volunteer groups come out. So we have corporate groups come out and do creek cleanups and mulching our trails. We also work with our Department of Natural Resources team in the removal of invasive species. So if any of you know about the honeysuckle epidemic, that is just the Midwest forest in general, Ernie Miller is a really great example of what a dedicated honeysuckle initiative can look like. And our forest and our woodland actually looks like what a traditional oak woodland would look like or should look like here in our states. They've completely, I think it's close to 70 or 80% eradication on honeysuckle. So you can actually quite literally, I told the kids today on our field trip, you can see the forest through the trees. You can actually look out into our forest and like see trees, not just these like big bushy honeysuckle plants that kind of can take over. But it looks really incredible. So they have worked incredibly hard. And Ernie Miller itself, our nature center, it's free to the public, so the public can come in at any time. Right now we're under construction. We're getting a major renovation, which is really exciting. So the nature center itself, you can't visit, but we have a really incredible park as well. And it's actually every habitat that you can find in the state of Kansas. We have a prairie that's actually never been plowed, which is very rare to find here in Kansas and just in the United States in general, to find a prairie that's actually traditionally itself. It's never been plowed, it's never been farmed. So we have that. We also have our woodland, and we also have the Little Cedar Creek that runs through our property as well. So we get to kind of take kids and we get to take patrons on all of these 3 different habitats. We also are kind of a rare park in our district. We don't allow dogs or bicycles or anything like that. So it is what it is. It's a forest. It's a place where people can come enjoy nature kind of in a way that is a little bit more traditional. Some of the pictures I brought up here, we take our kids on creek hikes. So we have some field trips that the kids can come in and explore the creek. We also run summer camps during June through July, where kids, it's all about nature. They can explore in the creek, they catch crawdads, they help us pick up trash. We go on nature hikes, and we really educate them on how incredible the outdoors is. Today during the springtime here at Ernie Miller, we are doing our field trips. And so we have over about 3,000 kids that come out between March and May to enjoy Ernie Miller in some really kind of spectacular ways. We have 2 field trips. One is called Mysteries, Wonders, and Myths, where we have the kids come and we do some traditional myth busting. They help these 3 characters overcome their fears of snakes that maybe they learned in childhood. We tell them some kind of silly stories and myths about snakes. Also myths about amphibians and the forest and deer and whether or not there's bears in Kansas and all of these other things. So we kind of do some myth busting around that, and they learn all about these different animals, their habitats, and how people can, educate others the right way and not teach them about, maybe some of those myths like touching a toad and you get warts, things like that maybe you heard in childhood, right? That get repeated through eons and eons of everybody growing up. We also have another field trip called Ecology Encounters, where we actually don't know the kids are coming to Ernie Miller, and they're coming under the guise that we as the naturalists are doing something wrong. And so they have to kind of solve this mystery and basically defend Ernie Miller from us trying to make a parking lot in our prairie and all of this other stuff. And so they learn all about the prairie and why it's important and why it's an endangered ecosystem. And it's a really fun field trip. It's really incredible. Yes, we dress up in costumes. If you look over here, this is one of our volunteers, Chuck. We dress up in costumes for a lot of our programs just to kind of add like an element of silliness and fun, and we really like to get into it. But we really try and have programs for everybody. So down here in the corner, if you see these kind of kids with binoculars, that's our Kids and Critters program. It's kind of like a Kids Day Out program we have every Thursday morning, where kids 3 to 5 come for 3 hours and they just learn all about nature. It's kind of like a junior preschool program. So if they're not ready for preschool quite yet, they can come and do this like 3 hours a week, get outside, get their hands dirty, meet some animals up close. And then we educate kids all the way, from 5 to adults. We do 50+ programs for our community. We do adult programs, birthday parties, lots of really incredible stuff. So really here at Ernie Miller, it truly is Earth Day every single day. Coincidentally, it's also my supervisor's birthday. My supervisor, Andrea, she's been here for 20 years, and it just makes sense that Earth Day is her birthday. It's just like the perfect day for her. But it's really, really incredible. And so I'm really happy with the work that I get to do here. My background, I was environmental geology in college, so I'm a rock nerd. If you ever visit the Nature Center, I kind of have this, what I call my dragon's hoard next to me on my desk of rocks that I show off to the kids and teach them how incredible some of the limestone is around Kansas, and how Kansas used to be this incredible ocean. So not only do we have these really beautiful ecosystems here, but we also have this ancient ecosystem that was here millions of years ago. And so I really get to enjoy my job. It's been a lot of fun. I've been here for 4 years, and it's pretty incredible. This week, we've also had a couple of our newer programs. We had a Cedar Niles bird hike where you could go out and see some of the new migratory birds that are finally here, right? We had kind of that weird early spring, and all the birds are like, are we late? What's going on? So all the birds are kind of starting to arrive, and we're seeing some cool stuff. And a newer program I've started this last couple years is a program called forest bathing. And so last year I got my certification to be a nature and forest therapy guide. And forest bathing, it's not, we're not rolling around in leaves, taking showers in leaves, things like that. But it's a really cool program that's based in a program called Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku, it was originally this Japanese practice of enjoying nature. And what they were finding is people were, lowering their blood pressure, your heart rate drops when you go into nature, when you spend a certain amount of time. And really the program is about spending intentional time in nature, not only with the natural world, but with yourself. And so a lot of people, when they come to that program, they experience kind of some childlike energy that maybe they haven't visited since they were like, I don't know, 8 or 10, exploring a creek, or just looking at a tree and discovering how interesting its bark looks, or how small the moss is as it grows into the bark and things like that. So it's a really incredible program. And I actually have my first full one next week with our 50+ program. We actually had to add spots to it, which is super exciting. So I'll take about 18 folks out, not to Ernie Miller. We'll actually go out to Meadowbrook. It's really hard to forest bathe when you have massive construction equipment just chainsawing into things and to steel rebar and stuff. So we have done some stuff off-site recently, but the construction definitely has not slowed us down, which has been really, really exciting. We can kind of take nature to wherever we need to. But yeah, it's nature. It's Earth Day every day here at Ernie Miller. That's really all I have prepared. But if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer any if anyone has one.
That is amazing, and amen to every day being Earth Day at Ernie Miller. I went and posted some links in the chat for you guys. The first one is the Ernie Miller Nature Center website, and then also the nature programs and like the field trips. So, and I'm still not even aware of all the cool stuff you guys do out there. So I'm still learning like regularly all the awesome things that you guys are doing, and I work here. So
it's pretty spectacular. Some of our field trips too, like one of the field trips I learned that our Ecology Encounters program, it's been going on for 35 years. So, and it's grown. What I really love about it is it's grown and evolved over time to kind of meet the needs of like today's children. So we've updated a lot of our curriculum. We used to do a lot more wayfinding and mapping in the early days, but now every kid has a cell phone. So it's a lot easier to find a map. We still teach like how to orienteer on a compass, but we've spent more time doing more hands-on things. Kids, honestly, when they come, they just want to play in the creek. They want to go and they want to look for bugs in a log. We had a class come in recently that was from a Title I school, and I had a child being like, we really need to touch grass more. I'm not even saying that as a joke, but like legitimately, we should touch grass more. And I'm like, yes, in my head, I'm like, yes, it's working. I was like, the power of nature is working. But it's so funny because they were like, I don't think I've spent longer than like 10 minutes outside at recess, and we're on a blacktop playground, and they got to spend like 3.5, 4 hours of their day just looking at really incredible things. We do a scavenger hunt in our prairie where we actually have them flip up rocks and find things. And, one time we found a snake and they're like, oh, I want to touch it. Let me touch it. I want to see it, which is really funny because sometimes that's not the reaction. But this group of kids, they were like, this is the coolest field trip we've ever been on. And usually when they say that, I'm just like, that's pretty incredible. And it's very simple what we do. It's just enjoying nature for what it is and kind of seeing the different things the forest, the prairie, and the wetlands have to offer us, which is really cool.
Now, MC, you've got a lot of certifications, not just because you're a rock star, but mainly, because you're awesome. But if any other Park and Rec agency were wanting to run a similar program, would they need a certification for something like that, or would you recommend another professional?
You wouldn't have to, but I would definitely recommend. I'm always the certification person. I'm like, teach me a training, teach me something new. I'm currently actually in our sailing class right now in order to our Johnson County sailing class in order to learn how to sail in order to support our camps for the summer. But I'm always that person that is like, yes, if there's a training, talk to your supervisor. You know, nothing is better than a well-written email about why you think this training is important. For my forest bathing certification, I actually applied for the educational reimbursement program here with the county. I wrote a big proposal, why I think it is important, why I think it should be here. And I actually ended up, they funded all of it, which was fantastic. So they funded my tuition, and it was a 200 credit hour course. And it also involved a wilderness immersion as well. So they actually paid for that trip under my conference budget, which was fantastic. And so and now I get to take that program and bring it back here and give it to the public, because I think it's a really great opportunity for people to get outdoors in a way that is easy. It's not like we're going on a 20-mile hike or a 10-mile mountain bike ride, which is totally fine. 3 cheers for the people that can do that. But if you just want to sit outside and enjoy nature in an intentional way, it's really incredible. But yeah, I'm all for certifications if you find one that's interesting. Same with like trainings like the Woofer training, the Wilderness First Responder training. That's another training I've earned here through NOLS that they were able to support. My supervisor supported me on, and so did our Parks and Recreation kind of government institution, which was really fantastic. And so it's great personal development for me, but it also allows me the skills in order to keep people safe and have them enjoy a really great program. So I'm all about the certs. But if you just want to enjoy nature, you know, a good Google and making sure you have a first aid kit and a backpack with water and some snacks, and you're good to go, you know?
I love it. And then, are you attending any Earth Day things this week and or today?
So unfortunately, my schedule is kind of, again, Earth Day every day. We had our field trip today. I think we have a volunteer group coming out later this week for doing some like creek cleanup and stuff. We had a few tree falls recently, and what was really nice about that is that one of the trees that fell in the creek is actually holding up all of the trash that has come from the recent rain, which is great. But now we have like a trash tree. So they're coming and helping us clean up that, which is fantastic. But I'm fortunate to where my Earth Day kind of spending, my Earth Day celebration gets to be my job, which I think is pretty incredible as well. Shameless plug though, if you want to enjoy nature, this Saturday is the Timber Ridge Open House. Timber Ridge is a kind of a sister site in our outdoor education department to Ernie Miller, where there's rock climbing, there's archery, BB guns, slingshots. You can try out kayaking, canoeing, boating, pedal boating. There's going to be s'mores. Cops and Bobbers is going to be there to do fishing. I think the DeSoto Fire Department is going to be out there too. But it's a free event, which is also great because Timber Ridge is normally an event that or Timber Ridge is normally a place that you have to, you schedule in advance. It's not a park that you can always go to, but it's a really cool way if you want to bring your whole family out to enjoy it. That is a really incredible day just to go out and enjoy all the fun stuff that maybe you did at camp as a kid, or maybe you didn't do at camp as a kid and you want to try it yourself. But it's a really cool way to see that site and just have a really fun day with your family.
That's awesome. And thank you, Katie, for putting that in the chat. I was trying to get to it, but you beat me to it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And then MC, would you feel comfortable putting your email in the chat so that way if anyone wanted to reach out to you after this meeting, they would be able to connect? So.
Absolutely. I'll stop sharing my screen. There we go. But yeah, feel free to connect. We do lots of incredible programs, and we're also open to doing new stuff too. So that's one thing, we're trying to branch out and go to some more different table events, and just different ways that we can engage the public in some different ways. and growing our foundation budget. While we are partially funded, we're partially tax supported. Our building is tax supported, but the programs that we do are not. So it's one of those things where we're partially supported, but then the rest of it we kind of have to, do a lot of ourselves. But we've been really trying to grow our foundation budget and getting some donations, especially with our new nature center. We're going to be able to get some new incredible exhibits with some of that funding as well. So yeah, we're also open to doing and trying new things.
That's amazing. I love that. You guys just always do the coolest stuff out there. So thank you so much for hopping on. Does anyone else have any final questions, comments, remarks for MC?
We're also open to collaborating. While some of our animals can't go across state lines, so to like the Missouri side or things like that, some of them can. We also have another incredible program that we do, our portable planetarium, where we teach space science. It's this huge kind of 20-foot inflatable dome that we can set up in a classroom or a gymnasium, and we can teach star stories. We can teach about the eclipses and moon phases. Right now, with the Artemis missions, our history of the Apollo program was super popular this year. I think we had over 1,000 kids go through our planetarium just through January and March, which was really, yeah, it was awesome. It was a little exhausting, but it was great, But that is a program that we have actually gone on the Missouri side for a lot of things. And it's a really cool way that kids can teach Earth from space. And selfishly, my favorite program is the plate tectonics program. I really would like that program to be like 2 hours, but I have to fit it all in 45 minutes. And I feel like the guy from Always Sunny with all like the ribbons and the pictures behind me when I talk about it, I get very, very excited to talk plate tectonics and volcanoes and all the things. So our Earth is pretty incredible.
You are like the Earth Day queen right now. And I love that you're so passionate about everything that you do. I can't praise you enough for all the awesome stuff that you guys are doing out there.
Oh, thank you, Allison.
Yeah. All right. You guys have her contact information. Please don't be shy. MC loves talking to people.
Yeah.
And yes, collaborating. So even if you guys wanted to do any collaboration at your Park and Rec agency or at your location, don't hesitate to reach out. And I know she's done stuff for employee work groups as well for nature bathing. And then she does all ages, just like what she said. So also, yes, hit up Timber Ridge. I would go to that, but I think I've already got stuff going on that day, unfortunately. Doesn't pan out for my spring schedule, dang it.
That's right. I'm doing the sailing class in the morning, and then I'll actually be at boats again that afternoon. So you can come say hi to me at kayak and canoeing from 12 to 4, because that's where I will be.
All right, then. Well, I love that. Well, thank you, MC, again for hopping on. Really appreciate you. And we will go ahead and move on to our next group discussion. Preparing for summer soccer engagement. Woof. Katie, do you want to lead that one? If not, then I'm gonna. You don't want to, that's fine. I have another expert on the call. Her name is Lacey Fisher. She's my boss, and she can kind of touch base on just high level of what JCPRD is doing for World Cup stuff.
Yes, I'm happy to do so. I'm going to come with a little bit of a disclaimer. My microphone on my computer has been a little crazy. So if we get some weird background noise or if I start to break up, let me know. So JCPRD has formed a committee that has been focused on how to make the most of the World Cup opportunity, and we've been meeting already for about 10 months. So we have pulled together a group of various departments, all of our departments, park, police, sports, marketing, development, admin. Everybody has been involved on trying to figure out the best way to still serve our community, but also kind of focus on what will be happening with the World Cup celebrations. So in my opinion, this committee has done a really good job of finding a good balance between still serving our communities, our municipalities, our cities, our patrons that we always do every summer with our various programming opportunities, but also welcoming those that will be here from around the world. So I'm sure you're all familiar that over the time span, we'll expect about 650,000 visitors to hit the KC metro area. And we are the only city to have 4 teams base camping here. So we have a really unique opportunity here in the heartland to kind of get to know the world and welcome them to our backyard. And so something that JCPRD wanted to be very, cognizant of is how can we turn this into a little bit of a legacy for years to come? What can we be doing that will benefit our patrons after July? So, of course, lots of municipalities, cities, communities are doing watch parties. Fan Fest will be happening downtown. And so that's certainly an opportunity that you can pull people together. And we do plan to do that. We, alongside Johnson County government, we have invested in a large 20-foot by 30-foot screen, and we'll be able to stream the matches. I believe it's 20 some days that we will be streaming matches at Theater in the Park. But what's really cool about, investing in that screen is the long-term idea for it. So of course, it'll lend itself very nicely to pulling the community together so that we can all enjoy these soccer matches together, both Johnson County residents, other KC Metro residents, and then those that are here from around the world. But the intention of this large screen, beyond World Cup watch parties, is going to really change how we are able to produce our theater productions. And so that screen is going to take the place of a lot of background and prop work that is required of all of the productions that happen at Theater in the Park throughout the season. And so we'll be able to really kind of do an overhaul of how our productions have been done thus far. So that's really kind of the legacy plan of the investment in our watch party screen. Another legacy item is our Unity Cup that we have pulled together that will actually be happening ahead of the World Cup. So the first weekend of June, we have created an adult soccer league that is really intended to showcase and feature all of the different communities and cultures that are right here in Kansas City. So we have structured a soccer tournament for, like I said, co-ed adults. We've opened it up to 16 different teams, and the hope there is to have teams that represent different countries, nations around the world. So we've almost sold out. What's really cool is that the participating teams are pretty unique. I expected to have a USA team, I expected to have a Canadian team, and I expected to have a Mexico team pretty quickly. And last I checked, we don't have either of those three. We do, however, have we have Thailand's in there, Pakistan's in there, lots of Asian countries, which is just fantastic. And so getting to really pull the folks together that are already right here in our community, we're hopeful that this Unity Cup will really kind of get the ball rolling on something that will be enjoyed for years to come. So again, these massive celebrations, of course, everyone has heard that this World Cup is going to be the largest event of its kind ever in the world, history forever and always. But it's really, how can we be about this and still benefit our patrons and clientele and community, but also kind of maximize the opportunity beyond this summer? What can we be putting into place that is sustainable and really is a legacy to this moment? So looking forward to it. The actual watch parties have various elements that we will be pulling together. Allie has joined me on the sports activation site that will be taking place out at the watch party. We also have a youth activation site. Those various areas out there at the watch party will be specific for, those in attendance. So for example, the sports activation site, we're kind of wrapping our head around how can we set up some free play for kids and families that are in attendance, especially on those days that we are showing 3 matches. They could potentially be with us for a full Saturday. So how can we really be engaging with them? How can we be teaching them about the sport of soccer and really, you know, upping the conversation about competition and wellness? I'm so super excited about it. I know that I skipped over a lot because, like I said, this has been a conversation that has been about 10 months in the making. There's a lot of movies, a lot of details. Every day, all day has been kind of conversation that has been focused on World Cup. As you know, from our emergency personnel, they've been preparing for it for months and months and months. And so it's definitely been a large conversation of everybody's everydays. And so I just wanted to make sure that I shared with everybody here kind of what we have built as a legacy. Questions, comments?
Thank you, Lacey. That is awesome.
Yes.
While you're talking, I went and posted the 2 links out to the Johnson County government, the Unity Cup.
Yep.
So the one shows just JoCo things and then more about it. And then the other one is the Johnson County United. So, and that's not just stuff about JCPRD. It is all of Johnson County. So that's kind of the cool part about that is it's not just us doing it. It's
Yes.
everybody.
And that's been really cool to work alongside, you know, our Johnson County friends, but also the different municipalities. Lennox is doing some watch parties. Olathe has got some various things going on. And so the Mid-America Regional Council also has kind of a schedule of all of the events that are happening during that time. So be sure to keep your eye on that. There's certainly no shortage of activities. And I'd be remiss to point out that our watch party celebration is a free event, again, intended for everybody to join us, for those, you know, that we serve every summer, to those that we only get to see for a few weeks this year. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lacey.
Yes, of course. Thank you, guys.
Does anyone have anything else that they want to share about World Cup wise or how they're handling things at their location?
Like I mentioned yesterday on the core group, in Blue Springs, we are not doing a ton. We just kind of feel like we're far enough out that it's not going to overwhelm us. So, and we're not like connected to the city like Lee Summit is. And Lee Summit, or I'm sure some of the Johnson County cities too, like there's like an Amtrak station that runs directly into downtown. Like we don't have that here. So we don't think that it's going to be quite as crazy here. However, with that, like the one thing that I know we have done, we have like our Parks Department oversees kind of like a public art throughout the city and our trail system and kind of all that kind of stuff. So we have a temporary soccer themed art installation kind of citywide now. So if you kind of drive around Blue Springs, there's a couple cool ones that are just kind of sporadically around the trails throughout the city.
That's cool.
It's very cool to see, you know, just kind of the different ways that all of those cities and communities are kind of making this their own. It's awesome.
Anyone else have anything that they want to share World Cup related or questions about, hey, this is an issue. I got a problem. How do I solve it? Not all at once. Calm down, you guys. All right. Well, I'm going to say that wraps up preparing for summer soccer engagement on that group discussion. So next up on our agenda, do we have any group and or partner updates? I know I shared some virtually through email at our core work group meeting the other day. So Kansas City Corporate Challenge is in full swing. We've been crushing it over here. And they just had flag football this past weekend. I know they've got soccer coming up and they've had tennis, weightlifting. We did have to cancel our closing celebration due to weather. And as a reminder, that's not just rain. We had some 70-mile-per-hour winds and hail and tornadoes. And after talking with whether or not, and some of those meteorologists, they even agreed that it would probably be safer if we did not host the event. So that did get canceled as a huge loss for a lot of us. We're very sad, but the show must go on. And we would much rather be safe than sorry and not have everyone out there and then nowhere to go to shelter in place when it did hit. So, that happened. I know the Tri 913 Youth Tri team here at JCPRD had a bring a friend to work or bring a friend to practice day on Monday. And so I got to go ride my bike with a whole bunch of kids. And I was a friend that Coach Katie brought. So that was super cool. They had quite a few kids come out and be brought just to test it out and check it out. So, and then otherwise, MC touched on the open house that we've got going on at Timbridge this weekend. We also have our Heritage Park Hustle Race Series that's happening out at Heritage Park. And that is coming up on May 9th. Otherwise, that's kind of all I got. We're just cruising over here at JCPRD. Anyone else have any updates they want to share? Natalie, calm down. I know you're excited. You got a lot to say over there.
I do have one thing to share from the sports sector.
Yes, please.
I thought some parks people might be interested. At our next meeting, the US Soccer Foundation is going to come and share about, they have money to do this free programming. It's before and after school programs, youth sport provider trainings, and then just like coach mentor trainings, which wouldn't necessarily be soccer specific. So they have, I think, 4 different types of trainings that are available, and some of them come with equipment. So he's going to come and talk about that and try to get Kansas City folks signed up. The timeline for that, I think, is they said is like once the money runs out, that's it. So the sooner you sign up, the better. Start dates would be starting in July or after. So say you sign the contract in May, but you don't want to do it till this winter, that's fine because you're already signed up. But if you think you want to do it, you definitely want to get signed up sooner rather than later. So
That's
that
cool.
meeting will be May 13th at noon. But if you're not able to go and think one of your Parks Department people might be interested, I could give you Yu's contact information as well.
So for that is just we can schedule a training for them to come out and work with our staff. Is that what it is? Sorry.
I think there's a contract you'd have to sign. I think for schools or they want like a minimum number of coaches that are going to maybe go through the training type of thing. So he would get into the minutia of like for each of those types of programming offer, what are the requirements?
That's super cool.
Yeah, but we're trying to facilitate as many free programming training opportunities as we can.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to share that with our children's services, our before and after school time folks. I think they would love that. Thank you. Does anyone else have any cool updates they want to share? And it doesn't have to be cool. It can just be an update.
Nothing really crazy going on here. We just are kind of rolling into our summer programs now here soon. Launch up into the summer.
I think we lost part of you there.
All I was saying is we're wrapping up kind of our spring programming, and our summer activity guide comes out in a couple weeks here. So that's kind of like the next step.
Nice. Awesome. And then Kara asked a question in the chat. I'd be interested in potentially attending this if possible. How can I get my name on the list to attend? Kara, you're talking about the, oh, yes, upcoming meetings?
The soccer meeting that Natalie was just talking about.
If you put your email in the chat, I'll just add you to the calendar invite.
Perfect. Thank you.
Same girl. Echo. Yes, me too. Add, please. Add to cart. All right. If we don't have any other partner updates, I know that we have our June Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative quarterly meeting. That is coming up on June 9th at 9 a.m. That is going to be in person and virtual. So if you cannot attend in person, have no fear. You can attend from the comfort of your own electronic device and screen. If you can attend in person, I strongly encourage you to because they have free breakfast and it's not just from McDonald's, it's actually catered in-house and the cooks are fire. So hit them up for sure. And thank you, Katie, for posting the link to that in the chat box. The subject for that one is going to be, I'm going to butcher her name. She's with UMKC. Katie?
KUMC, Dr. Ao Olagogi. So she'll be speaking on how AI can help support better health communication for healthy lifestyles.
Awesome. All right, well, that's all I have. Katie, did we miss anything?
No, we did not.
Okay.
That was everything.
All right, well, guys, that's all I have for the day. I don't want to keep you here any longer than what you need to. If you can, get outside and touch some grass, just like what MC said. It's very important. I definitely think I'm going to go do that. So, all right, well, everyone have a great rest of your day. Kick the rest of this week in the teeth, and we'll see you guys next time we see you.